Welcome back to another video. This one is about changing a pipe that in the coolant system that is fairly well known to break. Now, this is the pipe, right? This is a genuine part. I'll put the part number in the description in the bottom. It's one of 4 plastic pipes that you can buy as an aluminium cast set, and some people do change them for the cast aluminium ones. That's not the direction that I've gone with this car, with changing loads of bits for modified bits, although the car does have some modifications on it. I've decided to go with the genuine one, and it's this joint here. As you might well know, if you work on cars, plastics become brittle over time as the temperature varies on them. The fluctuation in temperature causes the plastic to start to break down and weaken. So I bought a new one in sort of, what's the word, preventative maintenance, knowing that this might fracture. Now on mine, the one of the other 4 pieces is the housing for the coolant temperature sensor. That's already been changed. This one is almost directly linked to it, just with one pipe, and this tends to fracture. Now from VW, this was only £9, so even for genuine, it's cheap. And these clips here, these hose clamps, yes, some people change them for Jubilee clips, and that's fair enough. You know, the other lads, like Dominic Parrott on his channel, he changed a lot of the pipes on his Noggy for silicon. So there are silicon kits out there. Again, that's not the direction that I'm going with this car. I'm trying to keep it fairly OEM, with original parts, a lot of new original parts while the parts are still available. So you can go that direction, you can go silicon, you can go cast aluminium parts. You know, there are mixed reviews with the cast parts. In fact, I've done casting here, and I could probably cast parts with the equipment that I've got here, but the maintenance service, the maintenance surfaces to the head and the block, for some people, for some companies that have made the cast parts, the people have complained about the quality of fitment. That's not to say that all of them are like that. I'm not saying that you should replace them for cast aluminium or you should go for plastic original parts, but that's the direction that I've gone. So I've got a few things on this workbench or toolbox here that I'll show you before I start the job. I've got these hose clamp pliers. US Pro ones, in my experience, are pretty good. They're not particularly expensive. They're probably not snap-on quality. But this item number here gives you 2. It's probably that one that I'm going to use because it's got a locking mechanism on it. And then I bought this one, which has got a cable on it, and this part here which clamps. That's the item number there. That was only about £12, and that's for difficult to reach parts where these clamps are a nightmare. And in the past I've always used mole grips, but it can be really difficult to get in. And I've got some genuine coolant. As far as I'm aware, I bought this last year actually. This is the latest stuff, G12 Evo. You can put any of the newer stuff in the older cars, as far as I understand, and that's what I've used. And I use deionized water. It's a couple of pounds from the supermarkets. You know, yes, you could argue, oh, just normal water's fine. Yeah, all right, that's fine. You put normal water in yours. But for what it costs, and what I'm happy with doing, is I put deionized water in, just mixed as if it was just normal water out the tap. So there's that. I've got some WD-40, just because you can use the little nozzle, get under the pipes and just lubricate the pipes, but it helps you get them off and back on again a little bit easier. So car's on the ramp, so I'm gonna start stripping it down a little bit. It's not a particularly difficult job to do, it's just going to be really fiddly. So I'll set the camera up, set it on a time lapse, and we'll crack on, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is the part here. That's the part that cracks. You've got the other part, the other plastic part, which tends to fail, which is just here. You've got a sensor in there. You can just see it there. There's the plug. that part's been changed on mine, so that's fine. Now, someone's put a Jubilee clip on there. I don't know if you can see, just there. That's not meant to be there. That's why I bought another clip. Now, I'm being fussy. I know I am, and I know I'm being OTT or OCD, whatever you want to call it. But I don't like that. That's not the original part. So, yes, I could reuse it. Yes, it's absolutely fine. Yes, you can use Jubilee clips, but I'm changing it. So, this here, what I'm going to try and do, I've took the coolant bottle top off just to relieve any pressure. There isn't really any at the minute because cars haven't been started for a few days. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this one, and I'm going to try, I'll put a microfiber towel down here, and I'm just going to try, I am going to lose some coolant, you know, I'm not trying to drain the whole system here, and I am going to lose some coolant, I accept that. But what I'm going to try and do is undo this one, move that off, and try and catch some of it. It's not going to empty the whole system just by undoing this. I'm going to take this pipe out, catch as much as I can into a small cup, into a small vessel of some description, and just try and minimise the amount of coolant that I use, that I drop out of the system. It is definitely going to drop some, but that's fine. I'm prepared to top it back up and bleed the system, which I'll show you a little bit later on in the video. It's really not that difficult at all. So yeah, so I'll set the camera back up. I just wanted to stop just to show you what things look like and where I'm going with here. There's this clip to come off, this one, there's another one there, which is why I've bought that deep reach cable operated pliers, and there's that pipe there, and there's one underneath. So it's going to be a little bit fiddly, but I can't see it being a problem really. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Right, okay, that's the top hose off. Now, by just catching it in a small cup and putting it in there, that's now stopped. So everything that's above that point is going to come out, really, isn't it? So that's now loose. Now I can start working on something a little bit lower down. I am going to lose a bit more here, obviously, but just trying to minimise the amount that I'm losing. Really, to be absolutely honest, just because I can't be bothered to take the engine tray off and go underneath and catch it all, that's all really, and I don't want it all going down into the mechanism on the top of the gearbox and everything. So I'm just trying to minimise it just by taking a little bit of care and a little bit of time, and it should be absolutely fine. So get it set back up again. We'll try this cable one on the one just there. Okay, right, so there's the old one. It's fine really, but I knew that. It's just knowing that it can break there, and for what it costs, fresh new part in there. Now, it is really fiddly. I've ended up putting a glove in there just to stop that leaking out there, but I've not lost a particularly large amount of coolant, to be honest. Just getting to those clips is just a bit of a pig. So I'm going to take this pipe out because I need to replace that Jubilee clip, if you remember me saying, just down there. But yeah, and then it'll just be a case of putting it all back together, like dry-ish, and then going from there. But I'm fairly happy with that. And that part, you've got that one at the bottom. Now, just a little tip, hint, whatever you want to call it. Where the pipes go on here, if you just get a flat blade and just put the flat blade in there and just open it a touch, just enough to get the straw in of some WD-40, and just give it a squirt of WD-40 just under the rubber of the pipe, and then give it a couple of minutes, and then it'll just twist and come off without you fighting the pipes. What I'm trying not to do is put any pressure on that sensor housing there and pull on that. Now, this pipe, because it's had a bit of WD-40 on it, you can see there it's just spinning, so that should just come off. So I'll give that a go with the camera out of my hands, and then see if that comes off. It should do. Okay, so there's the new hose clamp on that one where the Jubilee clip was, so that's sorted now. Just pull this out of here. Just need to put the housing back into there. What I'm going to do is going to take the new housing, I'm just going to lubricate the edges with a little bit of WD-40, just the ends of the pipe, and then they should slide on no problems, and then I can start to put this all back together. Okay, yeah, we'll go for it. Right, okay, so that's all buttoned up now. So all the hose clamps are back on. The new one there that replaced the Jubilee clip that had been fitted. The one on the underside, that's done. I've topped the coolant up to pretty much the max mark. What I'm going to do now is, these just bleed themselves. So I'm going to start the engine up, obviously check for leaks. I can't imagine there'll be any, but we'll check for leaks. And then the coolant level should drop. I'm going to put the heaters on full in the car, and as it drops, I'm going to top it up. Now, the coolant that I've got, the G12 Evo, as far as I'm aware, you don't need to dilute it, but if I need to top it up with a little bit of deionized water, it'll be absolutely fine. But I'm just going to put the full bottle in. I've put what I took out, and then I'm going to put that in. Right, so coolant level looking good. Nothing leaking around here. All good. So that seems okay at the minute. I'll let it run, tick over for a bit, let it warm up, get up to temperature and build some pressure up in the system. I would expect that it'll drop again a little bit, and then I'll just keep topping it up until then. You might find when you go for a drive, which I'm not going to do today because I can't be bothered, but if I go for a drive it might drop a little bit more, but just over the next few journeys or whatever I would just keep checking it and then just top it up when it's cold every time if it drops a little bit. But that should be fine. It didn't lose that much, to be honest, maybe a couple of cups worth. It's surprising how little you'll lose when you take 1 or 2 pipes off. Obviously don't take pipes off or anything when the car's hot, but when it's cold like that and it's not under pressure, nothing really tends to come out of it. Just a dribble in some cases, or a couple of cups worth in others. Obviously it depends what pipe you take off. Right, so I've run it up to temperature and I've used the 49C code on the dashboard to check the temperature, and on the dashboard on the binnacle as well, and it's sitting lovely at 91 degrees with the econ mode on. That's when the fans are not on. The fans should kick in themselves a little bit later on, but that's sitting lovely now with the temperature. So just have a quick look there. I've got the temperature running there. It's sitting at 90 and it's sitting on the 90 degrees on there and there, so that's spot on. And then if I just come out here, I've got everything buttoned up here. That's all sitting perfect on there. You can just about see it, and now all the covers are back on. There's no leaks or anything there. And just to conclude this video, really, I must say that these tools here, I'll just turn the camera around again, these tools here, this is really worth getting. I read one of the reviews just before I bought it, and someone had said that every VAG owner needs one of these. I can't disagree with that, actually. I should have bought one years ago, and these are really handy. There's the Jubilee clip that I took off. Absolutely fine to use that. I'm just being fussy. And there's the old part there. Now, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a bit dirty, but that's fine. It's just the fact that eventually that might crack, that might fail. You know, I am being fussy. I know I am. I know I'm being over the top. You don't need to change that, but if you needed to, you can see how I've done it. If you wanted to change it for preventative maintenance, you've seen how it's done. I haven't had to change, or I haven't had to add any anything other than this, and this was about sort of 800 millilitres in. I used a little bit previously, so I've just topped it up with that. I haven't actually used deionized water, but that just shows how little came out of the system when I did that. So that's the end of the video, really. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got a few more videos coming up. I've got one about the bonnet cable that I'm going to change, because there's definitely a bit of stretch on the cable. That should be here soon and I get that changed. I'll be doing another video on that one. And if you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel, and thanks very much to those who've supported the channel so far. Thanks very much. Cheers.